नमः सर्वेभ्यः। हरि ओम्। अद्वैतचिन्तनवर्गे सर्वेषां स्वागतम्। ॐ वक्रतुण्डमहाकाय सूर्यकोटिसमप्रभ निर्विघ्नं कुरु मे देव सर्वकार्येषु सर्वदा। शङ्करं शङ्कराचार्यं केशवं बादरायणं सूत्रभाष्यकृतौ वन्दे भगवन्तौ पुनः पुनः। ईश्वरो गुरुरात्मेति मूर्तिभेदविभागिने व्योमवद्व्याप्तदेहाय दक्षिणामूर्तये नमः। ॐ नमः परमर्षिभ्यो नमः परमर्षिभ्यः। शान्तिनी भगिनी, शान्ति महोदय।
आं महोदय। ॐ सहनाववतु सहनौ भुनक्तु सह वीर्यं कर्वावहै तेजस्विनावधीतमस्तु मा विद्विषावहै। ॐ शान्ति शान्ति शान्तिः। श्रीहरिं परमानन्दम् उपदेष्टार्मीश्वरं व्यापकं सर्वलोकानां कारणं तं नमाम्यहम्।
सम्यक्, धन्यवादः भगिनी।
धन्यवादः महोदय।
So we have in the last class what we have studied is about the rupa, or how the vairagya is being described in the shloka kakavishhtayam vat or gardhabavishhtayam vat. Both internal and external, what you call, afflictions or the attachments we have to either good or bad. That is the beauty of it. It doesn't say you should reject all the bad ones only. So good and bad is a relative term. So in that case, if you say bad, you don't know where to draw a line. But in Advaita, what they say is that sarvavita sukha dukkha, that is both internal and external. External is objective based, pleasures and comforts or discomfort which we feel. Also internal, like within the sharira, like the adi vyadi both, that is mental and physical illness inside, or the exaltations or the hyper good feeling which we have. Both should be seen as something which is not conducive for the study of Advaita or finding out what is the Aparokshanubhuti. Now, how does the Vairagya take place? If just by saying this, it has to be both internal and external, good and bad should be discarded as if it is unwanted. How does that affirmation of that thought comes in the mind? Is by Viveka. Now that is explained in the Vastu Viveka Rupa. Nityamatma Swarupam hi drishyam tat viveritakam yam yo nischayas samyak viveko vastuna savai. Now, if you look at the sloka, Shobha Bhagini, can you read the sloka and the Padacheda Anvaya in the meaning?
Haan, Mahodaya. Nityam atmaswarupam hi drishyam tat viparitagam evam yaha nischayah samyak vivekah vastunah sa vai. Tatra saha vai iti mane. Padachedah nityam atmaswarupam hi drishyam tat vastu viparitagam एवं यः निश्चयः सम्यक् विवेकः वस्तुनः सः वै. अन्वयः आत्मस्वरूपं हि नित्यं दृश्यं तत् विपरीतगम् इत्युक्ते अनित्यम् एवं यः सम्यक् निश्चयः वस्तुनः सः वै विवेकः Atmaswarupa indeed is seen as never changing. Those which is seen opposed to that which is impermanent, opposed to that is impermanent, kshamata, that alone is truly is knowledge of the object.
Here the object is standing for Atmaswarupa. Okay, in the last object. Okay, now what this shloka is in cryptic way is saying is that Nityam Atmaswarupam. Atmaswarupam is something which is Nityam, and ever since we know or we have the consciousness through the mind, we have been experiencing the I-ness, not the aham, I-ness as unchanging. What we experienced as an I, as a child, to adolescent, to the adult, to the last day of our life in this world, that I, aham, doesn't get changed, not the ahanta. Okay, ahanda. So that is what is nityam. And tat viparitagam, all that outside that is viparitagam. Why does it is viparitagam? Anityam, because that all of them other things have changed during the period of my lifetime itself. For talking about the lifetime of the earth or the cosmos or anything, just even within a human life cycle itself, all others have become viparitagam, or in what you call anitya rupam. That one yaha samyak nischayah vastuna. Vastuna is here the Atma Surupasya Samyak Nischayam Yakaroti. He indeed alone can have that Viveka for making that what is Nitya, what is Anitya. So Viveka is termed in other terms as Nitya Nitya Vastu Vivekam. What is Nitya and what is Anitya? That knowledge of Vastu. Here, then the Vastu that time is including everything, including the I. What is Nitya, what is Anitya? That knowledge is called Viveka. Now, Viveka is different from what is, we call it as Vastu Viveka. That is objective knowledge of knowing a object as other than myself is also a knowledge or an information. But you don't know the object outside as much as you know yourself. That Atma Suruva word is the word the importance comes in. You know yourself as an Atma Surupa.
Second left. Kiri second left last.
Surupa of yourself.
Correct. Paper serichu paranga. Hello. Now varen.
Vijaya, please mute. Vijaya Bagini. Okay, she is good. So Atma Surupa, the I-ness, or that is the knowledge which makes us firm, based on which everything else can be drishyam or seen as anitya in the outside world. Vijaya Bagini? Okay, so that is what it is. Namaste Vijaya Bagini. So now it's Vijaya Bagini, you are here, you can read this. Vijaya Bagini?
Idanim va?
Yes.
Idanim va? जी तत्र सम्ति इदानीं
no, you can, if you are seeing the screen, you can add in the screen, otherwise
I am having the paper.
Yeah, so idanim vairagya karanam vivekam lakshayati.
Yeah, vairagya karanam vivekam lakshayati nityamiti वैप्रसिद्धं सः वस्तुनः पदार्थस्य विवेकः विवेचनविषयेपो ज्ञेयः सक इत्यत् आह एवमिति य एवं प्रकारेण सम्यक् संशयादिशून्यः निश्चयः एवं कथमित्यत् आह नित्यमिति होति विद्वत् अनुभव प्रसिद्धमात्मस्वरूपं नित्यं विनाशि आबद्ध्यं सत्यमित्यर्थः अविनाशी वा अरेयमास्मा इति सूतेः दृश्यमान आत्मस्वरूपं तद् विपरीतकं तदात्मस्वरूपं तस्मात् विपरीतत्वेन गच्छति प्राप्नोति व्यवहारभूमिमिति तथाविधं विनाशी बाध्यमित्यर्थः अत्रेद मनु
अत्रैत
अनुमानमपि सूचितं भवति आत्मस्वरूपं नित्यं द्रष्टत्वात् यन्न नित्यं तत् न द्रष्टयता घटादीति द्रष्टुयता घटादीति केवल व्यतिरेकी हेतुः तथा स्वरूपम् अनित्यं दृश्यत्वात् यत् न नित्यं तत्र दृश्य यथात्मस्वरूप मिथ्ययं स्वरूपम् अनित्यं स्वरूप किम् अस्ति अत्र स्वरूप मिथ्ययमपि केवल
अयमपि
स्वरूपम्
इति अयम् अपि
स्वरूपम् इति अयमपि केवल व्यतिरेकी हेतुः बहु कठिनं संयुक्ताक्षररूपेण.
This is why I sent the paper in advance so that if when you read it you should know where you are making the breaking the words should be happen, because this is how the text is. Now so for us to understand we should know padas. If you don't break the padam correctly,
vichedam,
padachedam, yes, then you will get into anartham. Okay.
अधः किम् अस्ति शमदम का स्वरूपः?
No, that will come later. Let us finish this प्रतिपरिच्छेदम्.
उपरि अस्ति वस्तु विवेकः रूप स्वरूपः. अस्तु जी, धन्यवादः. परन्तु here after I will do it पदपरिचयम्.
Okay. इदानीं वैराग्यकारणं विवेकं लक्षयति. Now अस्मिन् श्लोके, in this shloka, vairagyasya karanam vivekam, that is being addressed here. Nityam iti why prasiddham, that vivekam, what is the vivekam lakshayati, what is nityam, and it is indeed prasiddham as nityam only. That what is the nitya, that is saha vastunaha padarthasya vivekah विवेचन विशेषः ज्ञेयः सकः इत्यतः आह एवं इति यः एवं प्रकारेण सम्यक् संशयादिशून्यः निश्चयः एवं कथम् इत्यतः आह निश्चयम् इति हिति विद्वत् अनुभव प्रसिद्ध आत्मस्वरूपं नित्यम् अविनाशी अबाध्यं सत्यमित्यर्थः. अविनाशी वा अरे अयमात्मा इति श्रुतेः दृश्यमान आत्मस्वरूपं तद् विपरीतकं tad atmaswarupam tasmad viparitattvena gacchati prapnoti vyavahara bhumimitim tad vitam yat tatavitam vinashi badhyam ityartah tatra idam anumanamapi suchitam bhavati atmaswarupam nityam drishtatvat yanna nityam tanna drishta yatha ghadati kevala vyatireki hetu tada anatmaswarupam idam nityam drishyatvat yanna nityam tanna drishyam yathatmaswarupam ityayam api kevala vyatireki hetu. That is how it is read. Now we'll break it up, that sentences in an understandable way. Now the cause for vairagya is viveka, or the true knowledge, commonly known as the discriminating knowledge of the objects as we understood. That is nitya vastu viveka is a discriminating knowledge. One who without doubt affirms the true knowledge of the object as permanent, the nature of Atma, self, known by the wise as permanent, and avinashi, non-decaying and unaffected by the changes, is truly the real knowledge. Now here the Atma Swarupasya Vivekam Eva Vairagyasya Karanam. That is what it is being said in this one. So Lakshayati means it is being addressed here, Nityam, and that Nityatvam is Padarthasya Vivekaha, that Atma Swarupam as a Padartham. Here one thing we should understand is that a vastu or a object will never change its swarupa, and if it is changing, then there is some mithyatvam or illusion or a confusion. Now Agni, for example, will be always heat producing and emanating light. Now Agni can never be like water, so there is a swarupatvam for Agni. Same way for water or any object if you take. Now if you say a feeling that I am going to be, I was born, I was dying, I am not nitya, that feeling, if it happens on the Atma Swarupa, that is what is called Ajnana or Samshaya or Viparya, confusion which we are creating because of the identification with the body or the mind. It is the mind which is going through the changes, or the body. But thinking that I am the body or I am the mind, we have a feeling that the seer, the one who is Nityam from the childhood, your body has changed, your mind has changed. Still, when we identify with the body and mind, we get a feeling that I am going to be Anitya, one day I am going to die. That feeling is because of the what you call Nishchaya Buddhi. If we don't have on that, that's our Swarupa is Atma Swarupam, which is Nityam. As long as we don't have that, we will be in doubt whether I am the body or my death is with my body and things such feeling. The nature of Atma, when it is known, that is, it is beyond the body and the mind, and that is permanent, because you yourself is a verifying fact, because nobody else can teach you or tell you that you are permanent. It is our personal experience. Each one of us in our own antakarana, if we look reversing or looking inward, we will find that the I-ness or the aham rupam, Atma Swarupam, has never gone through any changes. But mana has gone through change, mind has gone through, the childhood mind is no more there as an adult or an old man. Even the body from a youth to an old age, our body goes through the change. So the one who, the nature of Atma, oneself, one known by the wise as permanent and non-decaying, is unaffected by it. One who knows, he gets a real knowledge. So once you have this knowledge, then your leksham is, why am I then going after the things which are changing? So now this is being told by Yajnavalkya to Maitreyi. Are Maitreyi, avinashi va I am Atma. This Atma, O Maitreyi, is avinashi, is undecaying, right? O immutable is this Atma, is told by Shruti. The visible form of self is mutable and it is opposed to the Shruti and is therefore the transactional one that is decaying and perishing. So Atma, when you say, if we identify with the Sharira, the self as I am myself, and when we say that it is the Sharira which we are referring to, Vyavahara Bhumi, right? So that is something which is decaying. We have seen through the childhood has decayed and gone, the adolescent has decayed and gone, going or gone, like that. So iti shrutehe drishyamanam atma swarupam tad viparitakam tad atma swarupam. So we are not the drishyamana atma swarupam, which we identify ourselves as Sharira and mind. Tat viparitakam atma swarupam nityam yat avinashi asti tadeva atma swarupam. Now yatra idam atra idam anumanam api suchitam bhavati atma swarupam nityam drishtatvad. Now this is a very technical term which is used in the philosophical schools in India. I'll come to the next slide to explain that. No, nityam drishtatvad, yanna nityam tanna drishta. Whatever is not nitya is, can be, is objectifiable. Yada gadadi iti kevala vetirehi hetu. Now kevala vetirehi hetu is a one of the three anumana prakriya, which I'll explain in the next slide. Tada anatma swarupam anityam drishyatvad. Therefore the anatma swarupam, which is our body, the mind, and is anityam. Why? Drishyatvad, because it is objectifiable. Yad anityam tad drishyam. What is anityam can be objectified. Yatha atma swarupam iti ayam ipi kevala vyatirekusu. So because of that, atma swarupam is not drishyatvad, yanna drishyam tanna drishta, because it is not seeable, because drishtor drishte viparilopo na vidyate avinashitvad is the famous statement in Brihadaranyaka. Now the seer's aspect of seeing is never viparilopa, is never getting diminished. Why? Because avinashi. Drishtor drishte viparilopo na vidyate avinashitvat is because of that here. Now if it is not possible to write a word-to-word translation, so I have given a gist of the meaning here. Here now the inference example is used to explain the Nitya Swarupam of Atma. Kevala Vyatireki is a negative invariable concomitance used in the logic or inference. Atma is Nitya because of the status of Drishta, because he is the one who is seeing, or the observing consciousness. Whatever is Nitya is not seen like a momentary part. So Drishta the one who is seeing, or a seer, can only see a thing which is objectifiable or seen. So Drishta is like a part wise. Whatever is Nitya is not seen like a momentary part. So Atma Swarupam is Nitya, so hence it is not seeable. But part or the world or the Sharira or the mind, everything is observable as an object. So they are all momentary because they have got a beginning and the Shadvigaram, and it perishes also. The part is not the observer consciousness and is lost as a scene when the observer consciousness continue to. Even the part is gone, or the object in front of the seer is gone, the seer per se continues to remain. That is the Nityatva. Right? It is seen as lost, as seen, the object, or for the Atma is whichever remains even when the loss of the things which is seen is happened. Yad drishyam tad nashyam. Whatever is seen or whatever is objectifiable that are perishable. Whatever is seen is can also be lost, but observer of both the decay of the object before the decay and after the decay is seen by the Nitya Vastu, which is Atma Swarupa. Now, if you look at that, there are pramanas according to various systems in India. Prama Karanam Pramanam. The one which creates Prama Karanam, is Pramanam. That which creates Prama or knowledge in us is to be taken as a Pramanam. Now, Charvakas who are all materialistic or purely existing at the body level, for them, the Indriya Janya Pratyaksha, only perception is the only Pramana. They don't believe in any other Pramana. Neither the inference nor any other forms of knowledge which others accept is not acceptable to them. They say that what I see is what I see. This is what is reality me too. Whether it is remaining there or not remaining there, I don't care. For him, that momentary life is more important. Now, when it comes to Bauddhas and Vaisheshikas, perception and inference also is accepted. That is Pratyaksha and Anumana. Anumana is inference. So, where you infer about an existence or the knowledge of something is through inference, that knowledge is called Anumana. Sankhya and Yoga, they have Shabda as additional Pramana. The Shabda here they have the two is that Shruti Janya or Aptavakyam. Both are acceptable to them. Perception and inference like Pratyaksha and Anumana is common with Vaisheshikas and Sankhya and Yoga, but they also accept Shabda. Shabda Pramanam. Shabda Pramanam is Shabda Janya Pramanam, Jnanam. For that, whatever is the cause, whether it is a Shruti Vakya or a Apta Vakya. Now, Apta Vakya, when it is written over a period and Guru Shishya Parambara, Sampradayika Rupam, when it comes to subsequent generation, the Apta Vakyam becomes the Shruti Pramana. For the Nayayikas, they accept Upamana also. That is Pratyaksha, Anumana, Shabda and Upamana. Now Upamana is using example by giving a similarity, similes of similar things. I'll explain to that in the next this thing. So next slide. Prabhakara Mimamsa is a group of Mimamsakas before the Bhattas. They accept Pratyaksha, Anumana, Shabda, Upamana and Arthapatti. Now Arthapatti is basically a presumption. With the presumption of also, we assume we get some information. Not only perception, inference or verbal testimony by Aptavakya or comparison like Upamana or an example using. We also presume things. For example, what they say is that Devadatta is not eating in the day. The fat Devadatta or fat so-and-so is not eating during the day. So you presume that he is fat, that he must be eating something. So naturally he must be eating in the night. So Devadatta is eating in the night is a knowledge, right? Presumption of he is fat. He doesn't eat during the day, so he has to be eating in the night. That is the Arthapatti example of it. And Vedanta Bhatta Mimamsa, the Kumarala Bhatta, they have Pratyaksha, Anumana, Shabda, Upamana, Arthapatti and Anupalabdhi. Anupalabdhi is Abhavatva, that is non-apprehension. We are not apprehending the right knowledge about the snake, because of which we mistake it for a rope, we mistake it for a snake. So when the non-apprehension of the ropes take place, then we have a snake knowledge. From the where did the snake knowledge come from? It is because of the non-apprehension. So that non-apprehension is the cause for the misapprehension. But even misapprehension is a knowledge. So whether it's not a question of right or wrong knowledge. It is a question of knowledge which is arising, prama. So a misapprehension, a non-apprehension can give rise to a misapprehension. So these are the type of pramanas which are used in the Indian philosophical knowledge for analyzing our day-to-day experience. Unless it is established through one of the pramanas, then that knowledge is considered to be not a pramana or an illusion. Right? Now, pratyaksha, anumana, upamana, shabda, arthapatti, anupalabdhi, these are all the 6 knowledges, methods in which we can accept knowledge in the Advaita. Because of Vedanta, these are all the 6 methods in which we think. Out of that, pratyaksha means indriyarthajanyam. Anumanam is by inference. Now, each one of them have got different subcategories. Anumanam is what we will take now, for example, because that paragraph where Vidyaranya Muni has mentioned Kevala Vedireki. Now, what is Kevala Vedireki is one of the 3 groups of Anumana categories. Now, Upamanam is comparison. Shabdam, as I told you, is verbal authority. Arthapati is syllogism or inference on circumstances. Anupalabdhi is abhavatvam, because non-recognition of the right information can lead to a misapprehension, but misapprehension is also a knowledge. Now, in the Anumanam, the Naiyaka has divided it into 3 groups. Anvaya Vedireki, in which the invariable concomitants can be either affirmative or negative, Anvaya or Vedireka. Affirmative knowledge is called Anvaya and negative is called Vedireki. Wherever there is smoke, there is fire, as in the kitchen. Yatra yatra dhumaha tatra tatra vanni yata mahanasam. Where there is no fire, there is no smoke as is in the Mahahrutam. That is that. Yatra dhuma nasti tatra agni vanni nasti yada Mahahrutam. That is the lake, what they said. So here, the Anvaya is given by the kitchen as an example. In the kitchen, whenever you see smoke, there is a fire. But in the lake, there is no fire because there is no smoke ever seen on in the top of a lake. Even though you may see a fog, that is not a smoke. Now, Kevala Vyatireki, which in the Vidyaranya Muni has mentioned in the previous sloka, is that which is based only on negative invariable concomitants. That is only negative. That is, whoever is not omnipresent is not a creator. So that is what I told you. Yenna drishyam tanna drishta. So drishta cannot be nashyam. Same way, whoever is not omnipresent is not a creator, because a creator has to be omniscient. The inference is God is omniscient because he is a creator, is based on the negative invariable concomitants. No knowledge of affirmative invariable concomitants is possible in this case, because of the co-presence of omniscience and creatorship cannot be seen together at the same time anywhere. So, cannot be seen anywhere else other than in God. So, the omniscientship and creatorship. But the created ones and the omniscient one cannot be seen together, because the one who is creator cannot be the created. So, that is why the Kevala Vedireki is acting. In the Kevala Anvayi, which is an affirmative one, there is the sadhya is present. The jar is nameable because it is knowable. Because nameability is a quality for an object which is positive, thing inferred, is present everywhere. Wherever you see a project or object, you can name it. Because this inference is based solely on the affirmative invariable concomitants, namely, whatever is knowable is nameable, or whatever is nameable is known or was known. here the negative invariable concomitance is not possible, because there is no object which is having name and not known. So that is removed in the Kevala Anvay. So here, actually speaking, if you get into the Pramana and the study of this thing, that's a different subject. Tarka Sangraha deals it in a great detail. So we are not going into those, but here for our purpose is that what the shloka says is that what we have to keep it in mind. That is Ghadadi vat drishyam nasti. So the self, the Atma in us, is seeing objects, but even though the objects get destroyed, the Atma or the seer is never subjected to destruction, because even destruction is seen by the Atma. So to acknowledge their destruction also, there has to be the drishta. So enna drityam tanna drishta, en anityam tanna drishyam. So that Kevala Vyatireki Hetu is being used for establishing that. So Nityatvam is in Atma Swarupam, rest everything is Anitya, and that is the reason why we have to develop a Vairagya towards everything else other than the Atma. Okay? Now, any questions in this one, in this sloka, before we go to the next? Because we have completed Vairagya and Viveka. Now, from this sloka onwards, there are 3 slokas which is dealing with the Shad Sambatti, Shama, Dama, Uparati, Titiksha, Shraddha, Samadhanam. There are the 6.
You have told, no, Jay, that is, he is not taking completely the food in the morning time, during the daytime.
Devadatta, yes.
Devadatta. And he might be taking the food during night time. It is understood. Yeah. So, and second, उदाहरणमपि अस्ति तत्र एकः मनुष्यः अस्ति ज्योतिषशास्त्रेण ते उक्तवन्तः 100 वर्षं सः जीवति इति गृहे गच्छति देवदत्त इति पृष्टवान् सः न तत्र अस्ति बहिः गच्छति इत्युक्ते तत्र सः जीवति एव बहिः गच्छति अपि सः जीवति एव किमर्थं चेत् तत्र ज्योतिषमहोदयेन उक्तं सः 100 वर्षं जीवति इति एतदपि अन्य उदाहरणमस्ति खलु जि मया श्रुतमेव.
Yeah, that example is that Devadatta is not seen in the house, but he is alive. Okay, so if Devadatta is not seen in the house, but he is alive, that is presumption. Arthapatti comes as that Devadatta must be outside somewhere. So that is a presumption arriving out. That is an example of Arthapatti, not a Kevala Vyatireki. So that is where the presumption Arthapatti comes in, that saying that Devadatta is alive, is a known fact that he is alive. As he is not seen in the house, then the presumption comes as because he is alive and he is not seen in the house, he has to be somewhere outside.
Are you sending these English translation also?
Yeah, I'm sending that in the WhatsApp, as a WhatsApp attachment.
You are sending through WhatsApp?
Yeah.
I have not seen it, sir, so far.
In the group, you are not in the group?
Through email, is it?
No, in the WhatsApp group.
Yeah, I am in the WhatsApp group yesterday. Today also I have seen some messages.
No, every class when it is over, suppose today's class is over, tomorrow I will be sending it.
Can you please send through email also, Ji? Because I'm not... my mobile is, even though it is 40,000 rupees, it's having some problem. I cannot send any mail which is coming in WhatsApp. I cannot send it to email.
Okay. I'll send it to you. I'll send it in the email also.
Thank you.
Put it in the same folder, Mahodaya, that you do after all the classes. Put this one there also.
Yeah, that is better, Vijaya Bhagini. I'll put it in the same folder where I'm uploading the recording, no? So you can you can download from there.
Definitely. That is, I can do it through email, but not through this mobile.
Okay.
Thank you.
Okay. So on the Viveka and Vairagya, is there any that, because we have to clarify any of these things before going into the next Shat Sampatti. What is Viveka? Nitya Vastu Vivekam. And what is Nitya? Drishta, the one who is seeing our Atma Surupam, is Nitya. Sarvam, other than that, is Anitya, because Drishyatvad is the inference, anumana statement. Drishyatvad Natva, because if it is Drishyam, it has got a beginning and a middle and an end. Srishti Sthiti Layam, and that one who is seeing the Srishti Sthiti Layam has to be Nityam, because he is observing all the three, and he cannot observe his own Srishti Sthiti Layam, and he is the one which is permanent. So that knowledge makes us that the one which we are talking about, the Aparokshanubhuti, is all about our Atma Surupam, and for that, why is Vairagyam so much important is that the Vairagya Vastu is all Drishyatva. All belongs to the category of Drishyam, whether it is internal Adivyati or external Dhana Sampatti, Ihamutra Phalabhogam. All those things are Drishyam, and therefore they are all Nashyam. And because of the Nashyam, your attachment or your attraction towards that will give you only the continued happiness and unhappiness, because when you get it, you will get happy. When it is lost, you will be unhappy. So the happiness and unhappiness, if you depend upon the objects outside, including your own thoughts and your own feeling about your feeling good in the mind level or feeling bad about the mind level, all those things, there is a Sakshi or a Nitya Atma Surupam which is seeing the changes. So until you come to that, what is Nityam and the rest are Anityam, then only you can develop a proper Vairagyam towards the Anitya Vastu. That is what we have to take our knowledge from these two slokas which we studied till now.
Atra, what is the meaning of hoti? In third line, Kadamityat aha Nityamiti hoti. Hoti ityukte kim?
Nityamiti?
Third line. Sloka 5. Third line.
Sloka 5.
Third line, hoti.
Nityam Atma Swarupam hi Drishyam Tat Viparitakam Yam Yo Nischaya Samyak Viveko Vastuna Savai. That is the fifth one, no?
No. Let me read. Samshayadi Shunyaha Nichayaha Evam Kadamityata Haha Nityamiti hoti. You are in 6th, no? I'm talking about the 5th sloka.
5th sloka is this one, no?
Shobha Bhagini, Bhavati.
Yeah, Bhagini, in 5th it's not there, what you are asking.
No. Maya idanim eva
patitam. Can you go to the next page?
Idanim
Deepika.
The description.
Vastu Viveka
Bhagini, in the Deepika, the numbering is wrong. If you have taken it from the archive.
Astu idanim slokam eva tatra samyak eva.
What is the sloka starting with?
Nitya etateva tatra bhavatah samipe asti khalu nityam atma swarupam hi drishyam tat viparitakam etateva atra
yam yo nischaya. Then what is the you read it?
Can you go to the description, sir? I think she is referring description.
What is it? Idanim वैराग्य कारणं मया पठितं खलु
I think this is correct.
अत्र इत्यमिति हिति वा हिति परन्तु तत्र मुद्रणदोषम् अस्ति होति इति हिति हिति अपि किं मीनिङ्ग् अत्र
hiti meaning is, I tell you, hiti means is have and what you call it's an impelling or meaning by impelling means nischay nityam iti hiti, by impelling that it is nityam or directing that it is nityam. That is it's an archaic usage, in the Vedas and Shastra they use the word hiti. Yeah, it has got a meaning is saying that it is what you call to directing towards nityam.
अस्तु अस्तु ओके धन्यवादः.
It's not hoti. Now when you said hoti I was wondering where is hoti.
मम समीपे होति एव मम प्रिण्टिङ्ग् किमर्थं होति इति आगच्छति.
Vijaya Bhagini, what happened is that book of archive dot of Vidyaranya Muni, in the old alphabet there is the ink has gone some
this
places.
is your printing only. I took the printout what you sent it to me.
Right. Okay.
मम समीपे होति इति अस्ति परन्तु भवतः समीपे हिति इति अस्ति. किमर्थम् एतत् परिवर्तनम्?
I don't know. maybe anyway it must be the old printout which I had not corrected, might have been taken. Must be the one, because your
information
when I am reading it correctly I know wherever the printing mistake is there I correct it myself.
I'm just collecting all your materials.
Okay,
so I'm just keeping it because this is Deepika, no? Mama समीपे नास्ति अतः एव.
Okay.
धन्यवादः.
So on the Viveka and Vairagya we are clear. So we are moving to the next. Here, Shobha Bhagini, any Chantu Mahodaya, any questions?
No Mahodaya. So here Drishyam Anityam ityukte Drishyam means perceived also, kila?
Drishyam means whatever is perceived as objectified. Whatever is objectified, the one who objectifies is Nityam, because he is seeing the three phases of the object itself, no? Srishti Sthiti Layam, that is before, when it was not there, when it came into our contact, when it is getting destroyed, whether it is internal or external, all these differences are seen by a Nitya Vastu, and that is Atma Swarupa.
Right, correct, yeah. So Drishyam literally means seen, but
yes.
It's in the sense of perceived here.
Right, perceived means all indriyas.
Right, okay.
Including mind. Because Adi Vyadi is happening in the mind, but you as an Atma Swarupa can objectify the Adi Vyadi, what is happening in the mind, as an object. Right. So
that is another meaning for Drishyam.
Right.
Dhanyawad.
Now comes the Samadhi Shadka Sampatti. Sadaiva Vasana Tyagaha Shamoyamiti Sabditaha Nigraho Bahya Vrittinam Dama Ityabhidhiyate. Now, Chantu Mahodaya, can you read that?
Mahodaya. पदच्छेदः सदा एव वासनात्यागः समः अयम् इति शब्दितः निग्रहः बाह्यवृत्तीनां दमः इति अभिधीयते अन्वयः अयं समः एव सदा वासनात्यागः इति शब्दितः बाह्यवृत्तीनां निग्रहः दमः इति अभिधीयते.
You're right. Okay. Now here in each line, Shankaracharya has taken one of the Shat Sampati. In the first line is Shama. Now what is Yada Sada Eva Vasana Tyagaha Shama Ayam Iti Shabditaha. So that is Ayam Shamaha Eva Sada Vasana Tyagaha Iti Shabditaha. Now Shama Dama. Shama is the purging of innate tendencies, the vasanas which is in our mind or in our inner self, with which we get addicted to either internal or external objects. So that is driven by our subconscious attraction. Whether we like it or not, we get used to it. But to be aware of our vasana is the most important aspect of it. So what is Shama? If to know that, then we should know Shama is the act by which the vasana in us, which is towards objects both internal and external, that is to be identified, and it has to be one of the qualities by which the identification takes place. Vasana per se will remain or will be there as a body, human body. It will be available, or as we are seekers of that knowledge, these vasanas will keep coming, but we have to identify them and purge them, these tendencies, so that they do not carry us towards enjoyment or sorrow by using the vasana. Same way, bahya vrittinam nigraha dama ityabhidiyate. Now internal vrittis is vasana driven is shama. Now bahya vritti is by the sense organs we get attracted by seeing beautiful things, or sometimes a bad smell make us feel bad about it, or make us feel us to throw up. All those things are external vritti because of the bahya vritti. And dhamma, that is called dhamma. Tasya nigraha eva dhamma. Like vasana tyaga is shama, bahya vrittinam nigraha is dhamma. So both internal and external attractions or repulsions, either by indriyas or by the mind, is put together, is called shama and dhamma. Now in the English translation I have given is, this shama indeed is always called purging of innate tendencies. Dhamma is to be understood and annihilation of desires of external attractions. Shama, Dhamma, Uparati, Titiksha, Shraddha, Samadhanam are the sixfold wealth of an aspirant. Starting from the attraction of external objects caused by the innate tendencies, then the intelligent prohibition of external stimuli from controlling the individual are the first two essential steps in path of the search of the knowledge of the self. So we have now got Vairagya and Viveka as where we are to direct. Our attraction should be on the Atma Swarupa, and for Atma Swarupa, whatever as the objection has to be discarded, like a Kakavishtayam, Vairagyam. And for doing that, the process is by Shama and Dhamma is the first one, where the Shama is the internal tendencies which are forcing us to go outward, and external attractions of the objects calling us for indulgence or repulsions. Both have to be discarded for as a true aspirant, and for establishing ourselves, our identification from the body and the mind to the Atma Swarupam. This is what is in this particular sloka. And the last one he says that Tadevam Vairagya Karanam Vivekam Vyakhyaya Vairagya Karya Shamadhi Shadkas Lakshanati Lakshayati Sadvai Datyabhi Tribihi Slokaihi Sadaiva Sarvamsmin Api Kale Vasana Tyagaha Purva Samskara Samskaropekshayam Shama iti Shabditaha Antakarana Nigraha Shama Shabdartaha Bahyavrittinam Shrotrau Vak Adinam Nigraha Nishiddha Pravritti Tiraskara Damaha iti Shabdena Abhidiyate Katyate. Having explained the cause for Vairagya and Viveka, now the next three shlokas, the requirement of the sixfold personality, that Shat Sambhati, which is mandatory for being, is explained. All the times, at all places, the expunging of innate tendencies, which are result of our previous actions, are called Shama. Controlling of the internal sensory drive is Shama. And the prohibition or engagement of external organs in the objects of desires by engaging them towards gaining the Viveka is known as Dama. In which engaging them towards gaining Viveka is known as Dama. So Viveka, Vastu Viveka, we need to know which is Nitya Nitya Vastu Viveka. So Dama should be engaged in to know Nigraha, to getting attracted, but at the same time is used as a Nitya Nitya Vastu Viveka. For that, for the Pratyaksha, we need the external sensory organs. So we should use the external sensory organs for the Viveka purpose and not engage in the what you call for the pleasures and pains of the afflicting, which is creating the confusion or alienation from the Nitya Surupam of Atma. So this is what it is in the starting this thing. In the next three shlokas, he is explaining about the other four qualities of Shama, Dama, Uparati, Titiksha, Shraddha and Samadhanam. So from here onwards, the shlokas are and the commentaries are short. So we will be able to do more than 3 shlokas in a class. This is the next shloka which we will take up in the next class. Vishayebhyah paravritti paramopahar parama upahartis saha sahanam sarva dukkhanam tidiksha sa shubhat mata. So here Uparati evam Tidiksha Swarupam is being Uparati. Parama Uparati hi sa Vishayebhya Paravritti is Uparati. Parama Uparavritti. Sahanam Sarva Dukkhanam is the Tidiksha sa Shubhamata. This we will take it in the next class.
We can chant like Bhagavad Gita also, Ji. Is that the
Yeah.
Vishayebhya Paravritti.
Same Anushtup Chanda only. Vishayebhya paravritti paramo
paravritti sa sahanam sarva dukkhanam tidiksha sa shubhamata.
Right, because most of the Shankaracharya shlokas are in that Anushtup. Yeah.
Astu. Dhanyawadalu, Shubharatri ji.
Any questions on anybody else, or we'll keep it for the next class?
Very quick one.
Yeah, please.
Vasana we call as like an internal desire, right? And
Vasana
yes.
Vasana is not internal desire. Vasana is the what you call tendencies.
Okay.
Tendency because of which we have the internal vritti.
One more example shall I give, sir?
Yeah.
Can we give an example that are easier to understand?
Yeah,
maybe?
example, after the birth, immediately the infant, शिशुः, एतत् किमपि नास्ति, परन्तु मातुः समीपे गतम्, अनन्तरं किम् अस्ति तत्र दुग्धं पीतवन्तः, शिशवः अपि किमपि ज्ञातवन्तः एतत् विषये, एतत् एव वासना, पूर्वजन्मस्य वासना, एतदपि पशवः अपि किमपि when it take birth, immediately it's going to the mother to take milk. So who taught it? It is just now only it born, no? So it immediately goes nearing to his mother and started taking milk from her breast.
Yeah, so there
are
different examples are to be taken in this. In the example what Vijaya Bhagini is mentioned is given in some of the Advaitic texts itself. But the better way to understand is that among the same parents, you will find children having different tendencies towards it. Some will be interested in the music, some will be interested in in the police work or law, or some will be interested in art. Now these variations in the tendencies and the interest which is there from the individual, which may be shown at a later stage, or some children will be listening as a child itself, or age of 2 or 3 itself, will be showing interest in learning music or listening to music. Now these are all basically driven by the internal tendencies which are called vasana. Now vasana is something which we should understand that it is not something which is there, which is being showing its head all the time. As and when the life proceeds in our life cycle, certain vasanas which we had when we consume it, they just expunge from our data bank. But new vasanas will show up, either acquired in this life, or it can be from our tendencies which we have created as genetically modified bodies, or as our Shastra says, Purva Janma Siddham. So if you are believing in the Purva Janma, then it can be Purva Janma Siddham. But if you don't believe in Purva Janma Siddham, it can be a genetically modified requirement of the body attracted towards. Some people get attracted towards gambling. Some people will be going towards luxuries of life, whereas some people will be going towards studying all the time, like doing mathematics even without sleeping in the night, even though he can go and spend his time along with the friends in the pub or in other places, but he will be interested in doing or solving problems for himself. These are all called the tendencies or vasanas, which is there in our memory as a subconscious memory, but not as an operational memory. So what surfaces becomes a memory and drives us. What is lying dormant, we don't know. We have no knowledge about it. That is vasana.
In that case, vasanas could be like a positive or negative one, right?
Yes, there is nothing called positive, negative as far as vasana is concerned. See, Chandramodya, positive and negative changes according to time. What was positive centuries back is no more a negative, or positive or negative centuries back is no more positive or negative in our lifetime. And what is going to be positive or negative about centuries after us, they cannot be said right now, So to say also positive, negative, so positive, negative.
It changes intent.
Pardon?
Also, it changes, positive, negative changes by intent or the motive behind the action.
Right. Yes. So don't call positive, negative, but it is basically the tendencies with which the individual is forced to do certain actions. Simple as that. The tendency with which a person is, now for example, a person who has a tendency to listen to Shastras, he will look for opportunities where he can attend class and listen to that. Now at the same time, his friend who is in the same room, or his brother or his sister, if he or she is interested in listening to cricket commentary or music in the iPod, in the earphone, they will be doing that. Why? It is because of the vasana.
So that was a question more there. Like, if someone has a tendency, as you said, to listen to the religious books, right?
Right.
Why he should be really leave those vasanas, because this is good, isn't it? So he should be really, rather, I would say.
Right. You see, from your point of view, it is good and right. But now look from a person who is full-time into stock marketing, who is interested only making money. Now for him, the Shastras and the books are of no use, because his desire is for making money, no?
Right.
So for the man who is listening to Shastras, if his basic needs are met, money, whether it is surplus or not, he is not really worried about it, because his interest is in Shastra. It is not that he doesn't need money. He needs money for his survival. But more than that, he is not looking for accumulating and things. Whereas a man who is in the stock market or gambling, he will be all the time thinking about what should be my strategy for tomorrow.
So can I say, like, there are certain tendencies that are really needs to be discarded, and some of the tendencies are good. Maybe.
No,
unfortunately, good and bad. But
yeah, that's right. That is what the Shankaracharya says. Vasana tyagam. He didn't say sadvasana, durvasana tyagam. No, he never mentioned that way. So sadvasana or durvasana is not a category to be seen. Vasana tyagam means the entire tendency within our body for getting engaged in a anitya vastu.
Mahodaya.
Mahodaya.
Yeah. Okay. I have vasanas as in its entirety should be gotten rid of, because that is I see that point there, but on a personal level, there it translates into good and bad vasanas, because there are people who behave in such a way, say things, do things that cause pain or misery to other people. Mm-hmm. Sometimes they don't realize it, sometimes they do and they still want to do it. So that I understand that their vasanas are making them do that. Right. And we can even say they don't have a choice, because that's vasanas are driving them. Until we become aware that our vasanas are driving, we will follow whatever our vasana tells us to do. But we can say good and bad tendencies because of the effect of those tendencies.
What Shankara says here is that you are not looking whether the tendency of the vasana is for benefiting the people outside or not. What he generally says is that all vasanas are towards anitya vastu.
Correct.
So anitya, if you want to be established in the nitya vastu, you have to get rid of all contacts with the anitya vastus, whether it is good or bad. Same Vairagya, when he said both internal, external, good and bad. Same way, Shama is the cause with which Vairagya or the attraction takes place. So he says is that vasana tyagam, total vasana tyagam, it is not possible initially, because initially we will be, that is where some shastras come to guide us, saying that okay, you cannot divide off all the vasanas, at least turn it towards good vasanas, where what you said is right. Turn towards good vasanas. Even after turning to good vasanas, you will have more time to do Shastra or the studies, because the time which you used for in the bad vasanas are no more required. That time is saved for you. But even when you reduce the good vasana tyagam, because you know that what is, unless it is absolutely necessary, you should not engage with the world outside. That way what will happen is that you are reducing both good and bad vasanas. It is not that you are totally like a hermit in a cave, going and sitting and totally cutting off from the world outside. That can happen only if you are come prepared with that much of Vairagya and Viveka and the Shat Sambati. Then you may really not worry for the world. I think you will be only looking for the Atma Swarupa within you. But until such time, first stage is to see the vasanas are purged, which are not good for you and the society. Reduce it to only one, the good one, which is conducive for you and your society or family. Then even that, unless it is necessary, don't engage. So that by that you are reducing the vasana to half of the good. Then when you continue to do that, you will know that virtually it will come reduced to few items of dinacharya. Whatever you do in a day-to-day living only become the vasana driven thing. That rest of the time will be all available for you to study the Shastra or think about it. Nitya Nitya Vastu Viveka Vicharam. So that is what it is meant by Vasana Tyaga.
Yes, Dhanyavada Mudaya. So the goal is to get rid of the vasanas as a whole, but
Yes.
On a personal level, they, for the time being, will be translated as good and bad vasanas, good and bad tendencies, depending on what the effect will be. Correct.
Right.
I think Mahodaya's question was, as I understood, the good and bad vasanas are there. So when we start off, that is how we would look at it, right?
Right. That is right. In the initial stages, we will have to differentiate between what is conducive, what is not conducive. Don't call it as good or bad, because that word itself is connotational. Depending upon what is good and what is bad varies because of the intent, as you said, as well as the time and condition under which the same thing, intent, if it is done at the wrong time, can be very bad also, even though the intention was good, right?
Correct.
So,
Yes.
yeah, time, space, and everything matters. So best thing is that what is conducive for you as well as the society at a given point of time is what is to be taken in care. And we also look into one thing which I practice it myself, is that manasa vacha karmana, we have a tendency to take it for granted that whatever we say is not an action. No, that is also an action. The word, verbal, physical, as well as in the thoughts.
Thought itself is an action. Yes.
Yeah, thought itself. The thought-driven actions are words, and thought-driven, action-driven, word-driven, when it is being performed, then it becomes a physical action. So right from the thought level, you have to bring a samyama or the control with which you are knowing that by doing this, either I am going to hurt somebody or I am going to be helpful to somebody, or whatever may be, that you should measure it. Even then, you should come to the next stage. Unless asked for, don't go and help somebody. Now, it may be against the rules of non-governmental organization, NGOs. They feel like going and helping everyone is their motto. But what in this Shastra, we have to keep it in mind is that we are not going for the improving the world. We first let us improve ourselves, or let us know who I am.
Yes.
So in that case, what happens is that unless somebody comes and asks you for a help, don't even indulge in it. That way you are reducing it to the minimum vasana.
That is true. Ramakrishna also said, first do your own atmodhara, then help others. Ramana also said, the world will take care of itself. God will see to that. If you are meant to help, then you will. You can't even help it.
Right.
So
that's right.
that is true. And the general belief, as you are saying, general belief is that if we say something bad or do something bad, then it counts. No, it counts when, as soon as the thought arises, there itself it counts.
Yes, absolutely.
Even if it is not said or done, a bad thought counts as much as doing it itself.
Right, absolutely. Yes, Nayana Bhagini, what did you say?
I would like to know that vasanas are created in mind or it arises in the mind?
Vasanas are impressions which are resident in the mind. It is a what we call impression.
Can I answer that one?
Yes, please, Sanjani, tell me. Tell.
Yeah, vasana is a repeated choice of thought and action. So first time when you have a thought and you put it into action, it's like having a footprint on sand and the water will wash it away. But if you do that same thought and have that same thought and repeat the same action, it slowly becomes like a imprint on cement, which is indelible. So that becomes a part of you. It creates like a groove through which all your thoughts will flow. Like a simple example is like if you like red, you will choose everything red because your mind will only go in that direction. The first time you choose red, it's just a thought. The second time, it creates a groove and a pattern or a blueprint, and that is a vasana. Right? Am I right, Mahoday?
Yeah. See, what is it, Naina? I am not able to hear you properly.
So vasana arises with our repetitive action. Is that so?
No, impression created out of repetitive action.
Oh.
Impression is, or the what you call tendency.
Can be, yeah.
And that can be
what you say, it
and
is in our subconscious
can be from
mind.
previous births, and you can,
yes.
or you can acquire new ones.
Right.
Yeah. Or you can acquire new ones.
We keep adding to that.
Right.
One question over there.
Yes.
Like if we have to
for this vasana, we can quote so
Vijay
many
Bhagini,
examples.
Vijay Bhagini, 1 minute. Chandramohan is asking something.
if as we are saying, we have to get rid of vasanas. How do we identify what are the vasanas that we have? Maybe how to identify those tendencies. Something we say we like or very extremely dislike. Those are the easy to identify maybe. But is there any other ways or something that we can identify? These are the vasanas that I have and I need to get rid of.
I'll give you a very simple example, Chandramohan. It will be very clear if you analyze it.
Yeah.
What you liked as a child was the vasana at that time. You kept doing either the game or your food or your way of speaking or way of learning or singing or whatever may be your action. What you did those days were driven by the vasanas as a child at that time what was available. You consumed it by doing it, and then you also accumulated new vasanas with which your growth was seen from a childhood to an adolescent, from to that of an old young man to a middle-aged man or old man, whatever may be that. At each time what happens is these tendencies are the one based on which we do our day-to-day life in our every day. And when we do that, we are consuming that vasana. At the same time, our reaction towards the actions reaction, not because, see, suppose you did an action and there was a reaction from outside, either from a person or from an object. That reaction from an object creates a reaction in your mind. Either you are happy with it or you are unhappy with it. That is your reaction. For that, you did an action, there is a reaction from the world. Towards the reaction, you have a reciprocal action or thought which is happening in your mind. That when it is happening, that if it is repetitive in nature, you are creating an impression or a vasana. If it is once it happens and you are moved on, it really doesn't remain in your mind and you are not worried about it. But suppose some reaction is so telling on your thoughts that even after 5 years you are imagining about that particular incident. Either you are happy with it or you are totally shameful of your own action. That means that action or that moment has created a vasana in you.
Got it. Yeah.
You heard it, no?
Yeah, got it. Thank you.
Yeah.
धन्यवादः महोदय.
धन्यवादः भगिनी. ॐ पूर्णमदः पूर्णमिदं पूर्णात् पूर्णमुदच्यते पूर्णस्य पूर्णमादाय पूर्णमेवावशिष्यते. ॐ शान्ति शान्ति शान्तिः. हरिः ओम्. श्रीगुरुभ्यो नमः. हरिः ओम्. धन्यवादः. शुभरात्रिः.
धन्यवादः. शुभरात्रिः.